Welcome to the E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Founded in 2013, the EHL is your next step on the path to college. Over the past decade, the EHL has established itself as the college placement leader on the East Coast. And now, here's your host, the commissioner of the Eastern Hockey League, Neil Ravin.
Thanks, Jim. And with that, let's bring in Jeff and Anthony. Guys, does it feel like the final weekend of the regular season is here?
No. The only correct answer, no. Neil, it does not.
Like, this came up fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
don't we
fast.
say this every year? Now we're showing our age, aren't we?
Well, a little bit.
Did you know that every 7 days, a week passes?
Speaking of our age, real quick, happy belated birthday to Mikey Basile. He just turned 30 because that means he's welcome to Team Old Guys. Come on in, Mikey. Get your.
Oh, I thought you were going to say happy belated birthday to Neil. You know, his birthday just a few days ago. No big deal.
Yeah,
and Neil too.
We were on top of each other, myself and Mikey. Our birthdays. That was Sunday. His was Tuesday.
But Neil's already been in Team Old Guys for years. So have I. So it was a big. For me and Neil, once we hit over 30, Anthony, every birthday is just like, yep, another creaky year.
That'll be me in 2 months. So right after
you're
the
turning
season
30
ends.
soon too?
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll
have another addition to our group there, Jeff. So
add an extra Walker deal. Here we go.
Yes, but speaking of additions, we did make another addition of another X on the standings. Then another C was officially clinched yesterday. So let's start talking about that now and around the E Show.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the E Show.
Around the E Show is presented by BioSteel, the sports drink of the EHL. Use the promo code EHLB1, that's EHLB1, for 25% off when you check out at biosteel.com.
So, yes, we'll start with the Central Division, and the Chiefs are officially in with their win over the Rough Riders. The Rough Riders, I think, knew their back was probably against the wall anyways. They would have needed the Chiefs to lose out every game in regulation, and the Rough Riders had to win out every game, 5 games apiece. But the Chiefs are in, and you look at this Central Division, and I want to start from bottom to top, if you will. The Chiefs can still catch Rhode Island. They can't catch Providence.
Right, so now it's just host the playing game. That's what they're aiming for.
It's host or travel. And Rhode Island can still catch Providence, but it would take them collecting at least 5 of 6, if not 6 of 6 points this weekend in Philly. So
and that's if Providence doesn't get at least 1 or 2 points.
Exactly. So it feels like 3, 4, 5 are locked in.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying it's a definite, right?
All right, coaches, take note.
Jeff, you and I grew up, Patriots fans. So when broadcasters would say the game's over and then Brady shoved it up there, you know what? I would love that, right? So
Same.
3, 4, 5 feels locked in position, but not quite there yet. And the same thing.
We should probably check out each of those teams too, Neil, as far as their schedule. Providence, Wolves, Little Flyers, 87s. So a little mix. That's a hard schedule.
3 teams that are still playing for something. Yep.
Yeah. So there's your Providence update.
Yeah. So, and then Railers Apple Court, that was a really big win for the Railers yesterday down against HCRI, right? Because now they have a 3-point lead. And remember, they have the tiebreaker, which is still crazy to think that they played 4 games against each other before Ryan Crouchaw even got there. Like, that was all part of the same season somehow, which doesn't feel real to me.
And just to think that Crowshaw's insertion makes that much of a difference, that I think I think even Coach Bertoni and anyone in the Railers organization would agree that if those 4 games were replayed with the current Apple Core roster, not just Crowshaw, I mean, Golisano, they've had a bunch of guys that came in late, right?
Yeah.
So if those were
replayed,
replayed, though, probably a split, I would say. Maybe 2-2.
Oh, he says split. Again, we're not locking anything in. We're just offering potential opinions.
Right, exactly. Lenny and Nick, we're friends. Hey, how are you? Down in New York. But I think they at least win 2 games. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I think that would definitely be a split. But it's not. Railers win the tiebreaker. Neil, back to you.
But is the
schedule this weekend? Lumberjacks, Wizards, Avalanche. So that's kind of interesting.
That's very interesting. I want to come back to that too when we get to the North, because like you're playing not just for the one team in your division, you're playing for the regular season title now too.
Yeah.
And remember, like that's huge if you make it to Providence, because that puts you there as the 1 seed. All 4 teams that make it to Providence will be good. But if you're facing the 4 seed as opposed to the 3, technically it should be you're facing the weaker of the 2 teams. There's value in that.
I think also if you're the home team for every game, then you also get the last line change. That could also be a huge advantage. Get the right matchups.
Could be huge. Jeff just mentioned Railers play Lumberjacks, Wizards, Railers, or Avalanche, and the Apple Corps play Rangers, Wolves, Huntsmen. So
no cupcake schedule for either of them.
No, and look at this, like where they stand right now, 1 through 5. It could be exactly that way, 1 through 5. After this weekend is over. It's not locked in, but it could be exactly that order. Railers 1, Apple Corps 2, Providence 3, Rhode Island 4, Chiefs 5. So
and that Apple Corps' final game, Neil and Anthony, too, for the Huntsmen, that could be like the Huntsmen's get in or get out game. As their 3 points, I know we'll get to the South, but that game could decide it all.
Like, and the Huntsmen are going to have to probably, that's a good transition, Jeff. We'll go to the South, right? Because the Huntsmen are 3 points behind Philly Hockey Club. But they do own the tiebreaker, right? Which is big, right? So that probably puts a little bit of pressure on Philly Hockey Club, right? Just to know that, similar to like what Anthony said about Providence, if we just take care of our own business, they physically can't catch us. But
you're gonna win 2 out of 3 at least.
What if it does come down to that game? Because that game is the final game of the showcase of the season.
You'd have everybody sitting there watching.
Like, it could be pretty interesting. But speaking of other teams in the South, we added a Y symbol also. Does it feel similar, Anthony, that a team like the Bears, a team from New Jersey, was unbeatable for a stretch and then couldn't beat anybody for a stretch and then started to beat everyone again? This kind of feels very similar to other New Jersey teams.
Well, that New Jersey team, if memory serves, I don't think they got the number 1 seed, but
no, they didn't. But they still won the whole thing.
Did they do pretty well in the playoffs?
Yes.
I think they did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Bears did a great job bouncing back from that rather tumultuous December. I said, I described it in a Short Shifts article as what could only be described as a hibernation period. Right? Because it wasn't just December. It kind of bled into early January. But then they turn around. I think the goal scoring returned because that was one of the bigger problems. The offense just couldn't convert, even though Carson Fry and Tim Briley were still putting up great games on their end.
Yeah, no doubt.
Goalie goals are once in a blue moon. They're not any.
Can't rely on them to shoot on the power play or anything.
No, as good as those two are. No, I don't think Coach Kilcoyne's was looking into the well and trying to ask those two to start roofing pucks.
So funny. Just so everyone knows the PHC schedule, they go Wizards on Saturday, Bandits on Sunday, Express on Monday. So the key thing will to be, are the Bandits still in it by the time they get to Sunday? Are the Express still playing for something on Monday? We'll get to the East in a second, right? For the Huntsmen, every game is big to make up that deficit. They go Wolves, Rangers, and then, of course, that Apple Corps game. And then you just look at 2, 3, and 4. The fact that you could enter a weekend knowing that you have the chance to be as high as the 2 seed and host games 1 and 3 of your best of 3 series, or be as low as the 4 seed and have to turn around and play a play-in game next week. That is insane to think about.
And that is why we voted this showcase in, folks, so we can have a cinematic ending to what's been an awesome year. But again, I feel like I keep saying it every week. Just a reminder, everyone voted this in, so no complaints.
I mean,
the commissioner's office this weekend when you're like, god damn it.
I mean, showcases are one thing, but the fact that there's all these playoff implications, and now that we're getting towards the showcase, and now we know what these implications are, like now it's starting to feel real. I know we've hyped this up all season, but
no, you're right, Anthony.
Now it's a bit different, where it's like, okay, now we know what's at stake.
Now you know that, like you just said, there's a lot on the line for a lot of different teams.
Yep. And as assuming you guys know, obviously the coaches love to bust balls, right? So
Oh yeah,
Mark
they're really good at that.
Catron wanted to really kind of dig it a little bit and say that he
Yeah.
had the hardest of the remaining schedules this weekend,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I think
Let's
they're
take a
all
peek,
similar,
huh?
right? But he also said that he had the hardest showcase schedule of the three teams overall for the whole season. My
Wow.
response back to him, okay, Mark, I think Mark played one more against the Apple Core and one more against the Wizards than the rest of the group did. I think that's how it worked out, right?
Yeah, it
My
was a nice
response,
Terriers, Wizards,
yes.
Avs in the first showcase.
Yeah, my response back to Mark was, well, Mark, I didn't know the Apple Core would win over 30 games this year. I didn't
It's
know the
true.
Wizards have their best season in 5 years. Like you can't ever predict
On
like
paper, nope.
and
Nope.
we've talked about the Apple Core turnaround. We've talked about the Wizards being possibly the best scoring team in the league, but you just put matchups in to make it as fair as you can. And what I did for the showcase schedule for the South, I don't remember exactly the pattern, but two teams in the South played the same exact group. Two teams in the South played the same exact group, and two teams in the South played the same exact group. It was like I kind of paired it off, right? So the group that played the Railers and the Avalanche was these two teams, and then work your way down from there. So it's even, but you look at Mark's gripe and listen, you take care of your own business,
Yep.
all is good, right? So
Right.
the 87s play a game today, right? They have the Rough Riders today, who we just mentioned are knocked out now, so they're already just playing for pride the rest of the way. If the 87s can take care of business today, that would be huge for them because right now they technically are the leader of those three at 49 points in the one game in hand. If they could have a 3-point lead over the Team Maryland and then a 4-point lead over the Little Flyers, that's huge going into the weekend.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that can be the difference maker. Little Flyers have Providence, Valley, and the Junior Rangers this weekend. Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Okay.
Like you said on paper in the beginning of the season, it's just like
you don't know. Like you don't know.
The same thing.
Like
You don't truly know who's going to stink and who's going to actually come out and surprise people and be good. So,
like if you want to just all be honest about everything, that the Little Flyers crushed the Apple Core twice last year.
yeah.
It's a different story this year. It's just a different two different teams.
Yeah.
So you
87s have Seahawks, Providence, and Vermont.
Yep. And
I mean, Vermont's going to be fighting for their playoff lives. I know we're going to go to the
100%.
north in just a bit.
Yeah.
Tied with the Warriors.
That's
Yeah.
conceit.
Team Maryland has Seahawks, Rough Riders, Bandits, right? So it's this one of the four divisions, though, because of the fact that only one seed is really confirmed in number one right now, probably is the most compelling and fitting that we're going south for it, right? So to the east
That's
we
true.
go, because I mentioned the Express earlier. Love Nick Coda because he's kept asking me. He's like, "Can you just remind me of the math? Just remind me of the math. What I need to do here." So right now he's obviously in the
4-point
driver's
lead.
seat as the Express with a 4-point lead over the Wizards, 5-point over the Rangers. When it comes to this math, I don't know if this is like a playoff seeding 101, right? What I try and do is figure out how many games everybody has left, and here's your symmetry, Jeff. Most teams should have 43 left because you have 3 games this weekend, which means there's a max of 6 points for everyone. So with the Wizards, they can get to 68. For the Rangers, they can get to 67. So the second that the Express get to 69 or higher, it's over.
You're in, baby.
So the question then, but going back to what we said earlier, the Huntsmen don't want that to be too early because they want that Express versus Philly Hockey Club matchup to mean something. Unless you're looking at it as the Express and you're only 4 points behind the Railers. What if the Express shock us all and win all 3 of their games and win the regular season title?
They've been the best showcase team of anyone. Haven't they had the Newington showcase? They didn't let a goal in.
3 wins, 3 shutouts. Right?
I think the Railers might have something to say about that. I think they're also one of, if not the best showcase team.
Yes. And I think what they're kind of pushing for a little bit, Anthony, is they could win both regular season and the EHL and the EHLP. So it would take.
Has that ever been done?
It's never been done in the same
Rangers
season. Nope.
Oh, okay.
So it would take a pretty good weekend and some help for the Express to kind of sneak their way into that. I just bring it up because we had always talked like the East is their own animal and they're beating each other so much that how could one of them ever be the 1 seed, right? But the Express still have a chance at that. Most likely, the Express will finish number 1 at least in their division as long as they take care of at least one game and probably get some help along the way. They should be the 1 seed. But then between the Wizards and Rangers, that's probably a 2-3 matchup. And these are two teams that are as close to each other geography as like possible in our league, right?
Yeah,
I
Bedford
think
and Tewksbury. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing closer would be Tewksbury to Haverhill.
Yeah, that's like a 15.
Yeah,
20
I
minute
mean,
ride.
does it matter who's home for games 1 and 3 between the Wizards and
Probably
the
not.
Rangers?
No, you're both sleeping in your own beds. You're both, doing your usual traveling in your own cars. No bus needed. I don't think so.
But there's the Zamboni door
Oh,
bounce
damn!
at,
I was just gonna say
Tewksbury,
that.
not
You son
and
of
what?
a beep.
Well, it's just something to think about. Something to think about, right?
Yep.
But those are. It feels like that's your 2-3 battle this heading into the weekend to figure out who's 2, who's 3. Remember, Coach DiCaprio for the Rangers also coaches the Wizards U10 team. I want to say so.
That's right. His daughter's a goalie.
That's so
A little
funny.
bug. Oh.
Rangers play Applecore, Huntsman, Little Flyers. Wizards play Bears, Philly Hockey Club, Railers. So,
Ooh.
and they're done Sunday. Rangers go all the way to Monday. So something to keep an eye on there. We've mentioned already Terriers locked in at 4. They can't go anywhere. You know what? I'll just say it now. They're going to host the playing game March 8th at noon. All right, everyone, put that on your calendar.
And sports flags, be there, be square.
We already have that date and time locked in. The question is, do they face the Seahawks or the Bandits? And what I didn't realize about these two teams, the Bandits have really controlled the season series against the Seahawks. I want to say they either won 3 or 4 times against the Seahawks. So probably a little frustrating if you're the Bandits to not be above them, knowing that like that's who it comes down to, you and them. But
yeah, a 5-point deficit with 3 games left. That's going to be really tough for them. They're going to need some help.
And then we're looking real quick. Bandits. Terriers did win 7-1 one of the games, but the Bandits did win 4-3. Yep. Terriers won 4-3. Terriers win 5-1 and 6-3. So there were a couple of close games in there too. And we've been mentioning in the last couple of weeks how the Bandits have been playing a lot better hockey of late.
Yeah,
so
they had that big win over the Express of the showcase.
Yeah.
So the Bandits would need help for the teams that are facing the Seahawks, right? So the Seahawks first face Maryland. They're playing for something. They've next faced the 87s. We just said this. They're playing for something. Their last game is against HCRI Sunday against the Seahawks. Maybe Rhode Island seed by Sunday is already done and they're locked in as 4. But for the Bandits, as Anthony said, they have to take care of business themselves. So they first get Rhode Island on Saturday. Then they get Philly Hockey Club on Sunday. Then Maryland on Monday, right? It is a 5-point gap. But it is possible. They'd have to get.
So you're saying
they would
there's
have to
a
get.
chance.
They'd have to get at least 5 or 6 points, and they can't see the Seahawks get more than 1 point. Really, really, they have to see the Seahawks get no points. But it's one of those things where I think if the Seahawks drop their first game of the weekend, doesn't that creep into your mind?
I'd say so, a little bit.
Like
Coach Xander, we love him. I think he's going to start to get a little nervous, that anger that we see out of him sometimes might be a little more visibly apparent. Him and Corey Ellerton, yeah.
I just feel like if you know in the back of your mind, we win a game and we're in, and it gets closer and closer to the end, and your chances start to shrink a little bit. You grip the stick a little tighter, and it's like, oh boy, like they're right behind us. But that does take the Bandits taking care of their business too. So
yeah, right.
But we'll have to keep an eye on that, no matter what. And then we wrap it up with the North Division, and I kind of teased this when we started with the Central, but it would mean I take a lot of heat for the schedule sometimes, guys. No doubt, right? And
No, you?
justifiably so. I mean, if you want to, make your point and you have facts to stand on, go ahead. I love the debate.
And we'll just put it right here. If you would like to do the schedule, please email
my,
at Neil Ravin at
here's
Eastern Hockey League.
here's my binder, right? Monday,
Have fun.
Railers versus Avalanche. If that decided the regular season championship, or champion, I should say, Railers Avalanche Monday, if I could will that into existence, I would do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That
I
would be
think
huge.
I think that would be pretty cool, right? Because those are two teams that are heading to Philly knowing that they're in the playoffs. Like there's no debating that. The Avalanche are the 1 seed in their division. The Railers, again, in quotes, most likely are the 1 seed in
Yep.
their division. If that determines who wins the regular season championship and who then could be the 1 seed in Providence, that they both make it,
If they both make it.
I have the trophy with me. We're all dressed up, handed out right there on the ice. It looks like
no.
it looks like we planned for it. You know what I mean? Like if I could just will that into existence,
We'll just
that would be
brush your
kind of
shoulders off for you.
yeah.
Yeah, no long trip for you this year, Neil. Or short trip, I guess. Usually it's you making a car ride somewhere to drop that trophy off. Now
Yeah.
it's yep.
Now
Well,
I'm
now
with
you're making
them.
a car ride, but
Yes. If you note to self, Jeff, if you win the regular season championship, don't leave without the
Showcase
trophy.
weekend.
Don't leave
No,
without the
that's
trophy.
Take it with
Unless
you,
you could do what Vinny Calcieri did a few years ago and say, "Here, Vinny, I don't want it. Give it back to me." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
Because they
is that the
wanted
year
some-
that they got to the frozen finals?
Yes, he wanted something bigger that year. So I
That's
I
right.
respected
I do
that, right?
remember
Take your
Yeah.
picture. It's one of those things like, do you touch the president's trophy? Like, God, I
Will
don't
Coach Bird or CC do that?
I
Let's
don't
see.
I want to find out Monday when they face each other. I want to will that into existence.
We've all told both of them that no regular season champion has ever won the EHL championship, and I think both of them made the I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
So here's your trivia.
Ooh.
That's a fact, Jeff. No
Mhm.
EHL regular season champion has ever won the postseason championship, right?
Nope.
How many EHLP regular season champions have ever won the playoff championship?
The Rangers had to have. It's
That's
crazy how many
that's correct.
championships.
That's
the
correct.
Rangers
They did.
How many?
But how many times
Uh,
has the regular season champion won the playoff championship in the EHLP?
Once.
One time.
What year was that?
That was back in 2017-18, the first year of the Frozen Finals.
Wow.
So
It's been a minute then.
just a little nugget that, like, we've got a lot of history of this in both the EHL and EHLP. It's worked once. So we're going to see you guys start throwing games this weekend. Anyways, wrap it up.
It's like, who are you from? That's what's interesting too, to like not get into like tampering or anything like that, but it's like everybody's friends with people. Most of these coaches are, I'll say, are friends with each other.
Yeah.
So who do you talk to about like, hey, can you like really step on the gas? We really need some help in a win. Like,
yeah,
I can see certain teams doing it. I could
too.
I'll leave them all unnamed, but
I could too.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. I'll definitely be tuning in on Flow Hockey to see some of that.
Maybe coaches from the same division will give other coaches some scouting tips.
The South maybe.
Yeah.
North Division, the Wolves are in kind of a similar position to what the Providence Hockey Club is in. Actually, it's very similar. Wolves have 42 points. Providence has 42 points. The team trying to catch them has 37 points. So,
wow, that is weird.
Wolves are in the same position though, where they win a game, those teams can't catch them, right? So they're basically locked in at 3. As you mentioned, that would mean they would face the Spartans for the 3rd straight year in the first round of the playoffs. Book it. Anyways, Valley and Vermont heard what I just said about the South being the most compelling race, and they said, "What about us going into the last weekend?" Right? Valley does have
37 points.
Valley does have a big game today against Seacoast, which will get them to their 43 mark, and then they're both at 43 points. In a perfect world for Vermont, Valley loses that game in regulation, and they both head to Philly with 37 points. When they faced off last week, they played actually the day after the showcase ended. Seacoast won in overtime. So that gave Valley the point that tied them with Vermont. But unless crazy things happen, and that would require both Valley and Vermont to win all their games this weekend and the Wolves to lose all their games this weekend, it's going to come down to really Valley versus Vermont for that final playoff spot. And as we've done already, the schedules, I mentioned Valley, they play.
Valley's is tough. Oof.
They play Seacoast today. They play Express Saturday, Little Flyers
PLF.
Sunday, Rough Riders Monday.
Oof. That'll feel good if they do get in.
Yeah.
But
Right,
also will beat them up a little too much.
But speaking
if
of
they
tough
do get in.
schedules, tough schedules, wait, am I on P here? Yes.
You looking at Vermont's?
I'm looking at Vermont's P schedule for a second. I was like, that does not look right. I looked at something different yesterday. Who changed
Chiefs 87s for you?
Who changed this on me?
Chase did. Chase snuck into your laptop. Hey, Dad, I made a couple of changes while you were sleeping.
Oh, man. Yes, they play Railers, Chiefs 87. So, interesting. Just plenty to keep an eye on. And it's funny, like, it feels like we have a lot confirmed already in the EHL, but then we don't.
Not. Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of both. You have a lot confirmed, but then you get a lot unconfirmed. Like, if that makes sense.
I referenced my anxiety last week, Jeff. Nobody can schedule anything yet.
Yeah, you're still waking up in the night like, is someone at 39 games? That would not make sense. Oh God.
But in reality, really, nobody can schedule anything yet. Like, the Terriers have the date for their playing game, but they don't know who they're playing.
Not
right?
the opponent.
We don't have an official matchup yet.
All right.
So there's a lot confirmed, but there's not a lot confirmed.
Yeah.
So
that does make sense, people. Yes, it tracks. Good luck. EasternHockeyLeague.org.
They're like, what? They're like, what the hell is he saying right now?
A lot is confirmed, but a lot is not confirmed. What?
Yes.
What world are we living in? Hi, Waylon. What's up? Yes, a lot's confirmed and not a lot's confirmed, buddy. I know. Yep, he's chiming in.
Amazing.
Oh, our pets.
To the EHLP. Speaking of a lot confirmed and not a lot confirmed, the New England division. Adirondack is the one. The Wolves and Avalanche are probably the 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
They would, again, both need to lose out and Vermont win out, with every team having 3 games left. But as we've mentioned numerous times throughout this podcast, throughout the season, like from a geography perspective, it works out perfect that Adirondack will play Vermont and the Wolves will play the Avalanche in the first round.
Sure does.
And then 2 winners will face off. And I'm sure Adirondack is saying to themselves, we've won 3 straight games. Let's go take care of business at the showcase and enter the postseason with all the momentum in the world to avenge what took place last season for them when they got knocked out in the first round. I'm just going to go down the way that the website lists them. Mid-Atlantic Division. A reminder of how things will work here, because this is where it gets a little confusing. The 87s will not reach 42 games, and neither will the Chiefs.
Because you're okay with that.
Am I okay with it? No.
No,
but there are times in life, Jeff, where you have to just say it is what it is. It sucks.
Look at you. That's growth. That's 33-year-old Neil right there, folks. That's a 33-year-old Neil with a new perspective.
Yeah.
Learning, growing.
Like here you go, Jeff. Maybe this is too much information, but last night we're getting Chase ready for bed, and he decides to throw up everywhere. Guess what? It already happened. It already happened. Like, there's nothing we can physically do about it. The throw up has already left the body. Am I upset about it? Yes, but now we have to just deal with it.
Just clean it up.
The fact that he managed to do that and then sleep through the night, there's your silver lining. You know
Bonus.
what? I had to wash the rug this morning at 7 a.m. before we got on this podcast. I feel like I've been awake for 4 hours already, but hey, we're fine. We're fine. So it is what it is. The 87s.
I'm gonna barf, but I'm gonna let you sleep all night. There we go. Love
it. That's how he feels about me leaving for 4 days. Take that.
I say this as an honorary member of the Connecticut Chiefs that I think the 87 should just get the 2 points. Right? I set foot in Newington. I'm like basically with the organization. I think I should say that.
Yes, true. But I bring it up because when you're doing the math now between the Huntsman and the 87s this weekend, you have to remember the Huntsman's max possible points would have been 84, and the 87s would have been 82, right? So we're going based off points percentage, not wins percentage. So I can hear Justin now. I'm sure you can too, Jeff. Loser points, right? But you look at the two teams, the 87s don't have a loss in overtime or a shootout all year long.
How is that possible?
And the Huntsmen
Well,
have
they
one.
only played 3 games beyond regulation. It was a win against the Little Flyers in overtime, an overtime win against Adirondack, and a shootout win against Adirondack.
Yeah.
Those are the only games that went beyond regulation for them.
So the next math requires a calculator because this is math now. This is like real math. So if you look at where the 87s are at right now, right? They have 54 points out of a max of 81, right? Saying they lose all their games out. Oh, hold on, Anthony. Hold on. I know they're not going to lose every game this weekend, right? But their points percentage would then be 0.666. You follow what I'm saying? They have 54 out of 81. So for the Huntsmen, they have 59 out of what would have been. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. As I had the calculator, 54 divided by 82, I should say.
Oof.
It's 658. Okay. So now the Huntsmen 59 divided by 84 is 702. So the Huntsmen theoretically have to keep their calculator handy all weekend long and get their points percentage to a point where it's so high that the 87s can't reach that mark. Similar to all the teams that reach the game count, getting to a point total that the other team can't reach, right?
The 87s won't lose their games out. They're only riding a 9-game heater, Neil.
I knew he would take that personally. The team took that personally too. The point, I'm just making
Connor
sure
McNeil is calling.
I just want to make sure everyone knew exactly where we stand, right? So that's the battle between 1 and 2. Renegades are not locked in to 3, but they would need to, again, one of those situations where they'd have to drop all their games and the Little Flyers would have to most likely win all their games or win 4 of their 5 games the rest of the way, right? Little Flyers are 6 points behind the Renegades for that 3rd spot. Both are in, right? 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. So we got to keep an eye. Same thing, Union and Chiefs. Chiefs also will have to use that points percentage if it comes down to be that close between them and Union. So, but 1 and 2 get a bye. Huntsman and 87s, and then we got to figure out who 3, 6, and 4, 5 will be in the Mid-Atlantic division. To the Boston division, yes, the Railers have already clinched the division and the playoff spot and the regular season title.
And everything. They're the best ever. Woo!
They can win 2 more games of their 3 remaining and set the win record in a single regular season.
Ooh, get it. Johnny Fine Lease, Tyson Rougeau, do it. I dare you.
I mean, the tough part is, as I go to the schedule,
I was just doing the same.
Adirondack, Wolves, Huntsman. And remember, like, in the EHL, you're playing things out with the possibility that you go to the finals, you want to have the highest seed possible, right? In the EHLP, you're playing things out for the possibility that you make it to your division finals and you lose. You want to be the at-large.
Right.
Right? So if you're the Huntsman or Adirondack, you're playing for something the same way the Railers are. The Railers already clinched the regular season, so if they make it to the Boston Division Finals, they're going no matter what. They know that, right? Yep. Now it's a matter of do they want to set the record, and the teams that they're facing, the second best record in the league now is the Rangers with 61 points. Then Adirondack with 60,
and the Huntsman right behind them.
And Huntsman with 59. And the Huntsman are obviously playing for something with the 87s, right?
So all of them are playing for something. You're all playing to be the second best.
My point is,
lock it in.
And the Wolves are playing to host that Avalanche series. My point is, the Railers are playing 3 games where every opponent is
playing for
something else too. If they pull off the win record, it will be like that special.
Yeah, 100%.
So just something to keep an eye on in the Boston division. The Rangers quietly have caught up in game count. Remember, they were kind of trailing for a little bit there, and they've won 5 straight, and now somehow have an 8-point lead for the second seed in their division. So the Express and Valley each have 4 games left. So Valley can't physically catch the Rangers. The Express technically can if they win all their games and the Rangers lose all their games. But in all likelihood, as we've said a few times in the podcast, the Railers are the 1, the Rangers are the 2. They each get a bye. The question then is between Valley and the Express, who's 3 and who's 4? And anything can happen in the playoffs. I'm not saying that it can't. But the 3 seed gets the Bandits and the 4 seed gets the Seahawks. There's a difference there.
Yeah, there's
the Seahawks have 40 points, and if they were in the Mid-Atlantic division, they'd be in 3rd place, and if they were in the New England division, they'd be in 2nd place.
Yeah.
And they are a 5th place team.
Tough year, Coach Richard. Tough year. I can see him laughing now. Yeah, Neil. Like, what the hell?
He said to me that the Frozen Final should just be the Boston division, 1 through 4. I mean,
yeah, that's right. You said that last week.
It could be good. It actually could be good, but
that would be a great Frozen Final. Still, absolutely,
it would be. But
we've been dying for the Seahawks to get 1 team there at least. So
right,
let's do it. Sounds good.
Deep breath. That's where everyone stands on February 29th. It's actually fitting that we have a leap year this year to kind of digest all of this, have that extra day.
Yeah, right. We need that extra day badly. I'm not ready for March 1st.
Well,
even though it's coming tomorrow. And Neil's off to Philly at 6 a.m. Woohoo!
Yep. I already told Trevor and Tyler who they like to sleep.
Yeah.
To be ready. so you know what Tyler's doing?
Our young EHL children, is he staying up all night?
No, he's staying with Trevor.
Oh,
so he's physically already there.
Perfect. Sleeping in the mansion?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. So, oh man. Well, that's where everyone stands. We'll be sure to have the broadcasters ready to go for every matchup, knowing exactly what each team needs to do in their games to clinch or help somebody else out, or you name it. We'll be doing Instagram live things and whatnot throughout. Where I will need a little patience is keeping track of the fantasy points, fans. I will do it as quickly as I can.
A lot of games.
But we have 20 we have 21 games on Saturday. So just bear with me, Kevin Unger. Bear with me.
Melissa Ergis too? Oh
yes,
my god.
Yeah. So
he's pumped.
Let's get to the fantasy challenge now and set the table for where everyone's at heading into this final weekend.
Now it's time for the E-Show Fantasy Challenge. Follow along on the EHL app. Available now for free on both Apple iOS and Android.
As we start every week, though, Jeff, we start with my soapbox about my stupid fantasy hockey Yahoo team. That
you going to playoffs, buddy, or what? What's
oh
going
my
on
god,
here?
I get smoked, but I get smoked by you, and then I put up a boatload of points last week, and then I get out to a huge start this week, and then throw up a goose egg 2 nights ago, and then McDavid last night gets me 12 points. It's like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm friggin' annoyed. You know that?
But I'm annoyed too because my team's finally waking up and I'm 5-14 on a 2-game bender, trying to go on a 3-game winning streak and beating Justin. But I guess I'm gonna play spoiler because you and Justin are fighting for playoff spots. You're both in technically right now. Remind me again, it's top 8. You said
8.
Not top 6,
yeah.
top 8.
I could go.
You're in 7th, Justin's in 6th, Jamie's in 5th. Look at all those EHLers.
Yeah. I'm still kind of annoyed at the fact that 8 make it not 6, even though it probably helps me when all is said and done, but whatever.
Yeah, you'd be out, bud. You'd be first man out. Don't wish for that now. No. Don't do that. Yeah. So I guess it is time to just flip the switch daily.
Yeah, if I do fall out, Jeff, I can do like you have to do and just jump to DraftKings.
Jump to DraftKings, buddy, because we know hockey games move fast, but DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting part of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. Because this week, customers, new customers that is, can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code THPN. New customers can bet just $5 in the NHL and get 200 instantly in bonus bets. Yes, folks, that is for real. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. And do you have a gambling problem? If so, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER, or you can visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, you can call 877-8-HOPENY, or you can text HOPENY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is also available for problem gambling. You can call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. You can void that if you live in Ontario. Bonus bets do expire 168 hours after issuance, so see dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights are reserved.
I mentioned Kevin Unger's name, father of Peter Unger. Still in first place with 133.4 points.
Damn.
Should I just change it? If you get over 100 points, you should get in. I mean, look at the point totals this month. People
Eight
are
teams in.
Oh my God, this is absurd.
Logan Hillife's at 99.8. Justin's at 97. You got a few knocking on the door.
This is insane. Like Peter Unger's got 31 points. Davis Kinney's got 51 points, and Ryan Croushaw's got 51.4 points for Kevin Unger. That's why he's in first place. You mentioned Melissa, billet mom for the Express, Jeff. Peyton Myers has 57 points this month.
Holy smokes. She loves her Express, and she loves them even more when they're doing stuff for her. And she's so she texted me a few weeks ago. I think it was at the Exeter showcase, saying how she needed some real good Express games and points because she really wanted to win this. So
we're
cheering you on.
I mean, she's 10 and change behind, so it's going to be close. Mike Basile right there in third place.
Oh, Mikey.
PJ Sweeney with 49 points. Jack Costable 17. So Mikey's probably like a Costable.
45.8.
He's got 3 shutouts this month.
Yeah.
I know it says February, but it's February/March.
Oh, it's March. Mm-hmm.
I know it's a leap year, but we're adding it's essentially a 33-day month.
Yeah.
Right. So
basically,
it's fine. It's fine. We're just changing. We're just changing the global calendar a little bit.
I'll see it.
But I'm sure Mikey's saying if Costable has like a regular Costable month, not just 7.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Worst month to have it.
Like maybe he's in the lead. From there, just other players to mention. Obviously, David Bason's been so good all season long for the Avalanche, 37 points. Marcus Christofides has 37 points this month.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic. Charlie DiMartino, I thought was a great pick for me. He's got 35 points. Harrison Kramer, 45 points. Jack Kovacs, 32. Gavin Samopoulos, 33. So many forwards. Cody Walker, 31. So many forwards having great months this final month of the regular season. Mentioned Davis Kinney at 51. Drew Cody just dropped a 5-point game out of nowhere. 5 real points. The fantasy points that was like, I don't know, 16 or 17.
A billion.
He's up to 43 now. Jim Fitzgerald, 20. Corbin Mealy, 24. Tristan Boyer, 23. Brock Burrell, 22. Landon Jerome, 21. So there's D that are having great months as well here in the final month of the regular season. Jeff,
and that's always been a volatile spot, by the way, in fantasy in the years past. D, like some years were real D heavy, and some years it's like you can't find a D that can get you any points. So that's interesting.
Clearly, the D this year are saying we're going to join the rush and we're going to make a play.
We're pitching, we're activating, we're giving coaches headaches. Yep.
You mentioned Adam Casper, 45.8. We touched on Croshaw, 51.4. Jay Hugesson, little star of the month tease here. Those are coming out here soon. 58.6. What's funny is, I believe Anthony picked Jay Hugesson. So when he shut out the 87s today, Anthony, how did you feel? Because there's probably so many emotions about the playoff race and the fantasy and the former 87 in net now for Maryland.
I mean, my fantasy team, admittedly, Neil, is not that high of a priority. At least in this in this situation, I should say. But
for emotional purposes,
I guess I'm a homer in that regard, where I would have rather seen the 87s win, but I am happy for Hugeson because yeah, I was a little disappointed to see that he wasn't going to spend another year with the 87s, but you want to see former players from your team succeed.
Yeah.
I thought that he did a bit better than what the stat sheet may have looked like in Boston, but he comes down to Maryland and he's immediately their best goaltender. So,
Yeah.
I mean, really great kid off the ice. Couldn't be happier for him. Maybe he could have shut out another team like the Little Flyers or the Huntsmen or something, instead of the 87s. But I'll take it. Good for my fantasy team. Yeah, that's true.
I already did it.
So other goalies, just to mention, Evan Plunkett with 55.6 points this month. Sam Bowes is undefeated, three starts, 3 wins. So
yeah, he's been quietly extremely good all year.
Yep. So it looks like, again, similar to all the EHL standings and the EHLP, Kevin Unger in the driver's seat to win. But if somebody else sneaks in this past weekend for that final ticket, it wouldn't be all that surprising, I will say. So that's where the fantasy challenge is at heading into the final weekend. And now we'll wrap things up with what to watch for.
And now here's what to watch for in the EHL and the EHLP.
What to Watch For is presented by Flow Hockey, the official streaming platform for your EHL and EHLP action throughout the 2023-2024 season.
So there's only 4 days left in the season. Not that many games. No, not that many games.
Light work.
Only 65.
Light cardio.
So started today. Seacoast plays the Warriors. 87s play the Rough Riders. We mentioned that earlier. Huge games for the Warriors and 87. Seacoast in, but kind of stuck at in second place. And then Rough Riders obviously have been eliminated. Tomorrow, guys, tell me, I guess this is probably an easy question. There's 3 EHL games. Which one do you like the best? Wizards, Bears, Providence, Wolves, Maryland, Seahawks. Ooh. Wizards, Bears kind of sounds like a Frozen Finals preview, potentially.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like a Frozen Finals preview. I mean, I kind of like Team Maryland Seahawks, as we said.
Yeah.
All the teams in that log jammed in that South Division are looking for spots to clinch spots. The Seahawks are literally looking to get into the playoffs, so I'll pick that one as a good game to watch for.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this Providence New England Wolves matchup could be a sneaky good game, because here you have 2 teams who I think have been very underrated throughout the season. I mean, the Wolves are 1 game below hockey 500, but I've thought they've had some pretty good moments this season. AJ Lack is just having a marvelous season offensively for them. And Providence, in their first full season, they've been doing pretty well for themselves in a pretty good Central Division.
Yeah.
They have that immediate rivalry with HC Rhode Island. They've sort of held their own against teams like Applecore and the Railers, who have both just dominated the Central. So I'd pick that one for March 1st.
Both teams in third place with 42 points. Both teams want to win the game and then kind of not relax the rest of the weekend, but be able to feel free and locked into 3. So Saturday, 11 games. Oh my God. 11 games. Philly Hockey Club versus the Wizards, Wolves versus the Huntsmen, Seahawks versus the 87s, Maryland versus the Rough Riders, Little Flyers versus Providence, Spartans versus Chiefs, Terriers Avalanche, Rhode Island Bandits, Applecore Rangers, Railers Vermont, Valley Express.
I don't even know who to pick out of that. They're all good.
To me, Railers Vermont, right? I mean, Vermont, they've split so far this season. But Vermont's vote against the Railers was the 2nd game of the year. The Railers lost their first 2 games this season, everyone. Like, they lost opening day to the Terriers and then lost to Vermont. Do we remember that? I know it was a decade and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
But this is now a game where Worcester could theoretically, if Valley wins today against Seacoast, Worcester could end Vermont's season on Saturday night, almost. And while they're still kind of playing for something, that one jumps out to me, at least.
I think Wizards Philly Hockey Club too, because as we said, Wizards are still trying to fight for to win the East over the Express and Rangers. And then, as we mentioned, Philly Hockey Club's trying to sneak in past the Huntsmen. Interesting too. I mentioned Maryland Seahawks is a game to watch for. They haven't played each other yet this year. Same with Wizards Philly. So it's
Yep.
truly like an unknown opponent that you gotta have to go against. You don't have tape. You're playing the 2 25-minute halves. A reminder, it's a league showcase, not a regional, so no 320s. So that always changes things. We've always talked about that at nauseum, how that changes team styles of play and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Anthony, which game do you like?
Oh man, just so many to choose from.
I will say this while you're thinking about it. Speaking of like scheduling gripes, Jeff, Corey had a funny one about that Philly Hockey Club game. He's like, you do realize that we play Friday at 4 and Saturday at 10:15. So we're gonna have 2 games played before over 3/4 of the league even shows up. Mhm.
They're gonna
Yes.
be 3/4 packed on the way back home.
Yes.
That's how everyone shows up.
Yeah, technically, yes. That is a
Right.
fact. That's not
Yeah.
fiction, that's fact. But
Mhm.
Anthony, back to you.
uh, I'm trying to remember what game did you guys pick again?
Yeah,
I picked Wizards Philly Hockey Club.
And I picked Railers versus Vermont.
Okay. How about Apple Core and the Boston Junior Rangers?
Great matchup.
I mean, because in years past, I think we all know how that matchup would have gone. But
Yeah.
I mean, considering how well Apple Core's been doing this season, I mean, you have Ryan Croshaw going up against a team that usually produces, otherworldly goaltenders year in and year out.
Yeah. And 2 teams, as we've said before numerous times, maybe it's the title of this podcast, that are playing for something. So
I mean, 2 teams that can put the puck in the back of the net.
Yep, no doubt. No
I
doubt.
like that. Playing for something. Boom. There's your episode title. Done.
Sunday, March 3rd, 11 more games.
Oof.
Apple Core Wolves, Rhode Island Seahawks, Railers Wizards, Chiefs Lumberjacks, Rough Riders Spartans, Providence 87s, Valley versus the Little Flyers, Rangers Huntsmen, Avalanche Express, Bandits Philly Hockey Club, Terriers Bears.
Oh, there's all sorts of ways you can go with that. Avalanche Express, possible frozen finals preview.
Yep.
Damn. Warriors is interesting because of the North Division playing the Little Flyers. That's interesting.
That's probably my pick, Valley versus Little
Really?
Flyers. Like that could mean a game like where Valley, if things go their way, if they win, they clinch. Little Flyers, of course, trying to be the 2 or the 3, not the 4. I'd probably circle that game.
Anthony, how about you?
Jeff wants more time to think.
Let's see. I would probably go. I'd have to say Boston Junior Terriers and New Jersey Bears. I don't know why.
Ooh.
I just feel like in general that would be a really good matchup. I know the Bears have already clinched the number 1 seed for the South Division, but and Boston hosting the play-in game, but I think you have 2 kind of very similar teams in play style. I think that would just be a really fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, Bears
I'm gonna
versus
go
Bears versus
Avs
Dogs. Avs versus
Bears versus Dogs. I like Avs versus Express. That really
Yeah.
kind of sink your teeth. True playoff matchup.
I mean, I think that'll be the
With a
marquee
brass.
matchup for that particular day for sure.
Right.
For
They've
sure.
split the season series. 2 Avs won 3-2 back in Halloween, and then Express won 3-1 not too long ago, 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So interesting.
On Monday, we take a little break. We have 9 games on 11.
Ooh.
So Vermont 87s, Avalanche, Railers. Obviously, that's my pick because I want to will it into existence. Rangers, Little Flyers, Chiefs, Terriers, Express, Philly Hockey Club, Rough Riders, Warriors, Bandits, Maryland, Bears, Rhode Island, Huntsmen, Apple Core. As I said, I'm trying to will that 10:30 Avalanche Railers game into existence to be for the regular season title. So that's my pick.
I'm gonna go with my best friend Zach Overholzer and the PA Huntsman in that last game of the showcase versus the Apple Core versus Lenny and Nick, and I think that might be the game. Will the Huntsman EHL get in and join their EHLP constituents, or will they be helping out their EHLPers for their playoff run, and then will they be going home? I think that's like a salivating matchup for us as league personnel, that you could have the very last game in the last showcase of the year be for a team trying to get into the playoffs. I love that.
Crazy, right?
Wild.
Let's go Lumberjacks 87s, because the 87s, of course, fighting for
There we
that
go.
number 2 spot. They're hoping to stay in that spot and have home ice for that first playoff series. And then you have Vermont. Depending on how the showcase goes, they could very well be fighting for their season, where
Yeah.
it's a win and they get in situation.
No doubt.
So the Lumberjacks will be playing with a lot of desperation. I think the 87s, at the very least, will want to end the season on a high note. So I think that'll be a very fun game to watch.
For the EHLP, I'll start by saying this. People that are looking at the Friday schedule, I did not do that to Union. It worked out that way because they had to cancel a game and they agreed to put it on Friday. Okay, I did not do that to them. They played twice.
With them playing, oh, I see it now. I was like, wait, and I'm like, oh, yep, there it is, twice. Seahawks.
They play Little Flyers at 4, take a game off while the Renegades play the Wolves. Then they play the Seahawks.
Oh.
So that'll be a good little dip your toe in to start, and then we get to Saturday with 10 games. Seahawks, Little Flyers, 87s, Wolves, Bandits, Union, Avalanche, Chiefs, Valley versus Renegades, Huntsman, Lumberjacks, 87 Seahawks, Railers, Adirondack, Rangers, Little Flyers, Wolves, Express. I think we all kind of are circling that Railers Adirondack game.
Yeah,
Hard not to.
Had my cursor right over it. They haven't played each other yet this year either. They haven't played since last year. Have they played since that? I don't really want to bring it up, but that showcase matchup that got a little interesting up at Exeter.
No, they haven't. They haven't played since that physical matchup. You know what? I could really kind of add some juice to it too, and present the regular season. I could present the regular season trophy to the Railers right before, right?
Oh,
Anthony.
I mean, I would also say 87 Seahawks, because not necessarily last season, but I believe it was the season before. That was when almost every single showcase game between the 87s and Seahawks went to overtime.
Oh, that's right.
They've had a bit of a history against each other at showcases.
Yep.
I think they faced as many as 4 times in a season, and I think 3 of those games went into overtime, and the other game was a 1-goal game.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that matchup for sure.
9 games on Sunday: Bandits, Chiefs, Wolves, Railers, Seahawks, Lumberjacks, Express, Huntsman, Avalanche, Warriors, Rangers, Union, Express, Little Flyers, Huntsman, Adirondack, Warriors, 87s. Express, Huntsman. I mean, Express are playing to be the 3, not the 4, and Huntsman are playing for that 1 seat. I mean,
and playing for the at-large technically too.
And playing for the at-large too. That's the game that I'm circling.
That's huge. Okay.
And you know, the funny thing with Huntsman and Adirondack facing each other, I just think back to Worcester of last season, where Adirondack won their first game as a franchise in the shootout, and then the very next game, the Huntsmen, they faced the New England Wolves. They had that comeback win. So very similar starts as an organization, and now they're going to be facing each other, both as sophomore franchises, both teams who have done very well for themselves in their second year.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then we get to Monday to wrap it up. An easier day again. 7 games to combine with the EHL with 9. We have 16 games Monday, Jeff, and there were 16 games total in the regional showcase last week. So
yikes!
That's why I felt like there was this weight off of me last week. It was just like, we're here, we're playing hockey games, we're going to dinner later,
right. I know it was very work casual. We all were just kind of boom.
Monday, Chiefs, Lumberjacks, Renegades, Avalanche, Railers, Huntsman, Rangers, 87s, Express, Union, Adirondack Valley, Little Flyers, Bandits. I mean, do I just pick the Railers every game? I mean, 8:30 a.m. Railers versus Huntsman. If that decides the one team in the Mid-Atlantic division, if it decides if the Railers break the record, like that, 8:30 a.m., like, here we go. Grab your coffee. Like, that could be special, that game.
Except if you're Neil, don't grab your coffee or your gum because he doesn't like either.
Water.
Trevor, and here comes Trevor saying, his dad's a dentist.
Oh, my God.
That one's for you, Trevor. That one's for you, buddy. Love you.
It's too funny. Your picks, what final day?
Oh, picks on Monday. Oh, man.
Anthony, you want to start
Who's
us up?
playing for what? Who's playing for what? It's so hard on the last day because you really don't know who the heck's playing for what. So I guess it's kind of like the EHL. We're just kind of willing everything in.
Yes, exactly.
Go Huntsford again. Huntsford Railers. Go Zacho. Go Blaze Kilroy.
87's BJR potential Frozen Finals matchup. I know we've said that a couple of times.
It's happened,
already in this
right?
podcast.
Right. I want to see if the Railers really can get that all-time wins. All jokes aside. So
For sure.
We'll go Railers Huntsman.
So
let's go find Leaser. You got it. Do it.
Now, you know what, Jeff? Now my throat feels sore. So
I'm not even going to the show, kid. That's what I said to Neil this morning when I logged on. I was like, my throat is sore. I don't know if it like thinks we're going to Philly, but we're going to do a bunch of college playoff games this weekend. And I guess I'm getting sore in anticipation of that. But yeah.
Well, here we go. Next time we talk on this podcast, it'll be our playoff preview, and we'll know exactly who's playing each other. Because right now,
next week's episode when we're doing the brackets is it bracket week next week?
We're
teasing it.
I haven't even thought about brackets
Not sure.
yet.
Okay.
I was cleaning up throw-ups last night, so I hadn't thought about brackets yet.
I'm trying to remember years past if we've done it first episode before the playoffs.
We've typically done it after the play-in round, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
You're right. I think you're right. Well, just a little tease and a preview for you.
Yes, it's coming.
It might come next week. It might not. It is coming soon, though.
It's coming. So, for those that are traveling down to Philly or up to Philly or sideways, I don't know what way you're going to Philly. Travel safe. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you at the showcase. Obviously, every single team and a bunch of college coaches as well. We have some college coaches flying in from some Midwest schools. So pretty special. And yeah, let's finish off these final 65 games over the next 5 days, guys. We'll talk to you in the postseason.
Can't wait. Have fun, boys.
Thanks for listening to The E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.